الحمد لله الذي علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان والصلاة والسلام على خير الأنام نبينا وسيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد صلاة تفتح لنا أبواب الرضا والتيسير وتغلق بها عنا أبواب الشر والتعسير. أنت مولانا فنعم المولى ونعم النصير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله الحمد لله. Ya Rab, Ya Rab. With a show of hands, how many actually listened to the lecture on Sunday? ولا أحد. Nobody listened to the lecture on Sunday. صح? Of Yusuf عليه السلام. خلاص, no problem. We'll continue forward inshallah. وجاء إخوة يوسف. وجاء إخوة يوسف. I believe it's like verse 62, 63, something like that inshallah. 60 وجاء إخوة يوسف 62 around there. وجاء إخوة يوسف. نعم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وجاء إخوة يوسف فدخلوا عليه فعرفهم وهم له منكرون. ولما جهزهم بجهازهم قال ائتوني بأخ لكم من أبيكم ألا ترون أني أوفي الكيل وأنا خير المنزلين فإن لم تأتوني به فلا كيل لكم عندي ولا تقربون. قالوا سنراود عنه أباه وإنا لفاعلون. وقال لفتيانه اجعلوا بضاعتهم في رحالهم لعلهم يعرفونها إذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم لعلهم يرجعون. صدق الله العظيم. Read the translation. This is at the point where Yusuf alayhi salam has been appointed as the high minister. Pause 8 years forward after the years of the society where they're flourishing. When that's over, the 7 years that are difficult, the famine, the drought. Now this happens. Who comes? The brothers of? And the brothers of Yusuf came and entered upon him. And he recognized them, and they did not recognize him. And then he prepared them and furnished them with their supplies. He said, bring me a brother of yours from your father, Binyamin. Do you not see that I give full measure and I am the best of hosts? But if you do not bring him to me, then no measure of grain will be given to you from me, nor will you come close to me. That's it. They said, we will try to persuade his father, and indeed we will do it. And he said to his servants, put their merchandise back into their saddlebags so that they may recognize it when they go back to their families, and perhaps they will return it. As I said, Yusuf alayhi salam, he had warned Egypt of the 7 years of abundance that would first come, and then 7 years of famine, 7 years of drought that would follow it. So 14 years, and the 15th year, the great year, okay? So during the first 7 years, the skies rained, the crops flourished, and Yusuf alayhi salam, he gave them the advice. What did he tell them? Store it on the side. And the people listened to his advice alayhi salam, so they planted extensively, and they would also save and store the grain in their husks, so that in the years of difficulty and famine, they would be able to use what they had stored. Okay? So Egypt, they obeyed Yusuf alayhi salam's command. But what about the neighboring regions? Were they prepared? The neighboring regions, Canaan, Palestine, they were not prepared. Okay? And so people relied on Egypt now, on Misr now as a center of relief for the years of the drought. And as Yusuf alayhi salam informed them, after the 7 good years ended, the 7 years of famine now begun. So there were no trees. Please turn it off. No rain, no trees were bearing fruit. It was a very, very difficult 7 years, okay? And the drought, as I said, was not limited to Egypt. It also faced where Yaqub alayhi salam and his family were living. Where were they living? Canaan, okay? And so when food was running out, where were they going to go to? They were going to go to Egypt. This is what brought the brothers to Yusuf alayhi salam. This is what brought the brothers to Yusuf alayhi salam. Yaqub alayhi salam, did he know his son was alive? Did he know his son was alive? Did he know Yusuf was alive? No, he had no clue. If Yaqub knew his son was alive, why would he cry? Yaqub alayhi salam, he didn't know his son was alive. He sent his 10 sons, not thinking that they're going to Yusuf. Where did he send them to? To Egypt to do what? To collect the food. If he knew his son was already there at the highest station, would he be crying and sad over his son's loss? He knows his son is okay. He's in a sad state. Why? Because he doesn't know. So he sends his 10 sons, except who? Binyamin, he stays back. He says, you stay with me. I don't trust these guys. You go, you get the food, and then you come back. So he has no clue that Yusuf alayhi salam is now not only alive, but he's also the chief minister, the highest level and position that a person could get in Egypt. And so what does Allah say? وَجَاءَ إِخْوَةُ يُوسُف, and his brothers, the brothers of Yusuf came, فَدَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ, and they came upon him, and they entered upon him, who? Yusuf. فَعَرَفَهُمْ, he recognized them, and they didn't recognize him. Imagine the feeling of Yusuf alayhi salam, seeing his brothers after all of decades, after many decades, and that betrayal. What would it do inside your heart? That your own brothers betrayed you. What would you do when you're in a position of power? Imagine how sad he sees all of his brothers together. He said, I was your brother. Why did you do this to me? Subhanallah. فَعَرَفَهُمْ وَهُمْ لَهُ مُنْكِرُونَ. And then they didn't even recognize him. Okay? So Yusuf alayhi salam, of course, who is he? Who's taking the responsibility and the full charge of the distribution of the food? Yusuf alayhi salam. So he knows that where is it going and who is it going to. He has people's names written down. He has his own surveillance. He knows that if somebody comes from Canaan, then I know who is it going to be. It's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to look for my family. Okay. So imagine Yusuf alayhi salam has full authority, and when his brothers come and his names are presented in front of him, and he sees them, he recognizes them, and they don't recognize him. Why don't they recognize him? What are some of the reasons? Why isn't Yusuf alayhi salam? Huh? It's been almost 40 years. When did they leave him? When he was a boy. And now all these years of being servant in the palace, and then being in the jail, and then 8 years of serving as the high minister of Egypt. Do you think they're going to recognize him? What would make them think that their young brother, who perhaps they probably thinking he's dead or sold off as a slave somewhere, would be the high minister of Egypt? Would they ever think that? No, they would not. That's why they couldn't recognize him. After all of these years, they forgot his face. You know, it's not like now where we have pictures that we take of people. Sometimes you might know someone from 40 years ago. A glimpse of who they were is what you remember. Okay, so Yusuf alayhi salam, he sees all of them. He knows that these are 10. These 10 are my brothers. But they couldn't recognize him. And also, is he wearing the garments of a slave that, you know, or a torn shirt like they left him? He's dressed as a high minister of Egypt. What do you think, what kind of clothes he's going to wear? So he's very unrecognizable. Some people, they get a haircut, they change their clothes, they look unrecognizable. What do you think about 40 years and then all of this? So just imagine, they had no clue that it was Yusuf alayhi salam. So what did Yusuf alayhi salam do in terms of that food distribution? During the time, in the years of the famine, he had a rationing system. Can you just give everyone whatever they want? No, you have to ration it out, because there's a quota, right? We have this much, and so each person that comes, they're going to get their own camel load. This will allow them to survive until the end. Each person is designated a load of grain so that they're able to survive. Why? Because Yusuf alayhi salam has the responsibility of ensuring that everyone survives. If he gives people extra, what's going to happen? It's going to be unfair, it's going to be unjust. And Yusuf alayhi salam, he is hafiz, ameen. He's a person that's trustworthy, he's competent, and he knows what he's doing, alayhi salam. Binyamin wasn't there with the brothers. He was where? He's with Yaqub alayhi salam, because he doesn't trust the brothers, okay? And so Yusuf alayhi salam, did he treat them wrong when they were with him? When the brothers came? No. وَأَنَا خَيْرُ الْمُنْزِلِينَ. Not only did Yusuf alayhi salam have them come, he was honoring them and being very hospitable to them. And they don't even know who he is. وَأَنَا خَيْرُ الْمُنْزِلِينَ. Okay? This shows you that even after all that they did, his character didn't change. Yusuf alayhi salam's character didn't change. Subhanallah. If you take gold and you spit on it, is it still gold? It's still gold. Oh, yeah. The gold doesn't change. So if someone does bad adab to you, doesn't mean you start becoming something else. The gold remains gold. Yusuf alayhi salam, no matter whatever happens to him, he's still what? Yusuf alayhi salam. He's still min al-muhsinin. And so the brothers, when they come and they're requesting a load for each members of their family, the brothers are there. Who's missing? The father. The father, excusable. Why? He's old. You cannot expect an elderly man to come travel. Understandable. Who else is in your family? Oh, we have our youngest brother. Why didn't he come? He can come. No, but physically, why couldn't he come? So Yusuf alayhi salam, he is using this as a means and excuse for them to come and bring their brother, bring his full brother. Because that's their half brother, and that's Yusuf alayhi salam's full brother. Okay? So Yusuf alayhi salam, when they requested 2 extra loads, he said, no. He said, I'm not just going to give you whatever you want. Bring your brother. So when he prepared them to be able to leave, and he gave each one each load, وَلَمَّا جَهَّزَهُمْ بِجَهَازِهِمْ, what did Yusuf alayhi salam say? If you're being honest, إِيتُونِي بِأَخٍ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَبِيكُمْ, bring that brother. Bring that brother from your father. From your father means half brother, or it means that he's with your father right now. إِيتُونِي بِأَخٍ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَبِيكُمْ. You're being honest with me? Then bring him. And if you bring him, then you'll be good. أَلَا تَرَوْنَ, and he tells them, he's encouraging them. He said, don't you see, أَلَا تَرَوْنَ أَنِّي أُوفِي الْكَيْلَ وَأَنَا خَيْرُ الْمُنْزِلِينَ. Don't you see that I've been generous to you? I've been nice to you. I gave you full measure. And I hosted you very, very nicely. I gave you a fair measure of grain. Okay? Yusuf alayhi salam is what? Encouraging them, doing targheeb. I was very generous to you. I hosted you. أَلَا تَرَوْنَ أَنِّي أُوفِي الْكَيْلَ وَأَنَا خَيْرُ الْمُنْزِلِينَ. And then he warns them. He said, Tara, if you're lying to me about that brother, فَإِن لَمْ تَأْتُونِي بِهِ, if you don't bring him to me, فَلَا كَيْلَ لَكُمْ, then there is no measure of grain. وَلَا تَقْرَبُونَ, don't come close to me. That generosity, you're not welcome here anymore. That connection you have with me, it's gone. Can you imagine, subhanAllah? Yusuf alayhi salam, now what is he saying? Is he going to harm them? No. But he's saying, if you do not do what I'm asking and fulfill that right that I'm asking you, then the generosity from me is cut off. لا تقربون. If a person cheats you in business, don't go cheat them. What do? That's it, end of story. لا تقربون. هذا فراق بيني وبينك. That's it. ولا تقربون. And why did he do this? What's the whole reason behind it? So that he can reunite with his brother Binyamin. And then later, of course, as we continue with the story. What did the brothers say? Oh no, we need this. Every single load is important for the survival of the family. So what do they say? سَنُرَاوِدُ عَنْهُ أَبَاهُ وَإِنَّا لَفَاعِلُونَ. The brothers still remain the same. They're still trying to trick and deceive Yaqub alayhi salam, still not being honest with him. What did Allah say about the woman with Imratul Aziz with Yusuf? وَرَاوَدَتُ الَّتِي. The same verb is used. سَنُرَاوِدُ عَنْهُ أَبَاهُ. Meaning what? They're going to sneak, they're going to trick him and keep going and try different ways so that they can convince Yaqub alayhi salam. Why do they have to convince him? We're definitely going to bring him because they need it. Why? No, but why do they have to convince him so much? The trust is gone. You already lost one of my sons. Now you're going to lose my second son too? His younger brother? No, I don't trust you all. That's it. So they're going to trick and try to convince Yaqub alayhi salam. Okay? And then what does Yusuf alayhi salam say after that in the ayah? وَقَالَ لِفِتْيَانِهِ جَعَلُوا بِضَاعَتَهُمْ فِي رِحَالِهِمْ. He said to his servants, Yusuf used to be a servant, now he has his own servants. سُبْحَانَ الَّذِي يُقَلِّبُ الْأُمُورِ. One day he's a servant, the next day he has servants. وَقَالَ لِفِتْيَانِهِ جَعَلُوا بِضَاعَتَهُمْ فِي رِحَالِهِمْ. He said, put their merchandise back into their saddlebags. Why? This is a muqayada. When they came, they had exchanged their own goods, whatever it might have been, some coins, some silver, some gold, or even their own animal skin that they were able to make as people in Canaan that had that type of, that trade. He said, put it back and give it back to them. Why? He's showing that I'm being generous. I didn't even take this. He says to them, اجعلوا بضاعتهم في رحالهم. Yusuf alayhi salam, he returned their payment. He should have kept it. He returned their payment, okay? And where did he put it? Deeply in their bags. So that they would find it where? When they arrive. لعلهم يعرفونها إذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم لعلهم يرجعون. So that they might recognize it when they return to their family, so they might come back. So Yusuf alayhi salam, why is he doing it? Imam al-Razi mentions a few reasons. He wants to entice them to return. He wants them to feel honored that he gave us back what he didn't have to give back. And they'll feel obliged that he was so generous, so kind to us, let's go back and then let's get that extra load for our brother. Let's go back and get the extra load for our brother because we're going to need it for the 7 years. How many years of the famine? 7 years. And if they don't, then the only source of livelihood that they can get in Egypt will be cut off. Because what did he say? If you don't bring him, don't come back to Egypt. If you don't bring him, don't come back here. لا تقربون. You're not welcome here. If you're lying to me and you don't bring him, then I'm considering you liars. Don't come back. لا تقربون. Okay? And why did he do it? لعلهم يعرفونها إذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم لعلهم يرجعون. So that perhaps Yaqub alayhi salam, when he goes there, he hears of the kindness of Al-Aziz, who is Yusuf, of the or the high minister of Egypt, who is Yusuf, and the brothers, they see it, so that they feel obliged to then go back and return back to Yusuf alayhi salam. Question: 8 years. Okay, why didn't Yusuf go back to his father? When he was a slave, could he go back? No. Common sense. Can you go back as a slave? No. Could he go back in the jail? No. Okay, but now for 8 years, you've been the high minister of Egypt. He has the army under his control. Could he have gone back, yes or no? Physically, could he have gone back, yes or no? Does he have the means to? Is anything stopping him? So why didn't he go back? Jameel. Too many Jamils, mashallah. Triple, quadruple Jamil. His name is Jamil, and everything he says is Jamil, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. So 8 years had passed. Allah did not give him permission yet. Okay? In the past, he wasn't able to, and at this point, he couldn't. And also the Mufassirun, they mentioned that Yaqub alayhi salam, his test with Allah was not over yet. His test with Allah is not over yet. Because who does he love so much? Yusuf alayhi salam. Allah wants to test him more. And then he wants to take Binyamin again. Why? Because he wants Yaqub alayhi salam to fully have in his heart what? Everything is for Allah and lives for Allah and everything is by Allah. So that's why in the end, what does he say? يا بني اذهبوا فتحسسوا من يوسف ولا تيأسوا من روح الله. Don't lose hope. إنه لا ييأس من روح الله إلا القوم الكافرون. So Yaqub alayhi salam, this is also part of his own test. Because you know all of these prophets, they're tested, yes or no? So this was the test of Yaqub alayhi salam that wasn't done yet. And also this shows you the selflessness of Yusuf alayhi salam. That because for 7 years he has been focused on making sure that the people of Egypt are not suffering and that they don't die in a famine and that in that coming famine, and he makes sure that everything is prepared. If he leaves as the high minister of Egypt, what's going to happen to Egypt? If he leaves for 40, 50, 60 days, what's going to happen to them? Chaos. They need him. Because the king, he's just being the king, enjoying his figurehead position. Who's the one really doing the work? يَتَبَوَّأُ مِنْهَا حَيْثُ يَشَاءُ. Yusuf alayhi salam. So if he leaves, what's going to happen to Egypt? Huge chaos. And so because of this, Yusuf alayhi salam decided to say, these are two different reasons that the ulama mentioned. One of them is what? That because Yusuf alayhi salam, if he leaves, it's going to be chaos. And number two, the test for Yaqub alayhi salam has not finished. Allah Azza wa Jal wants him to have full attachment to who? To him. And so this should remind us all that real ubudiyyah, real servitude to Allah is when you put Allah before everything. When you put Allah before your work, Allah before your family, Allah before your children, Allah before your wife, Allah before yourself. How many people do this? When they feel lazy, what do? Give Allah preference, or they don't pray? People don't pray. When they want to go out and when they see their family and they have an opportunity, if I sell alcohol in my store, I can make more money and take care of my family and go on vacation. What do they start to do? They put their family first. They put their nafs first. They put this first. But Allah is teaching us that in order for you to be a true abd of Him, you put Allah first, everything else comes after. Everything else. اللهم اجعلنا ممن تفكر فتذكر وتدبر فاعتبر وتفرغ لقراءة كتابك يا رب العالمين وصلى اللهم على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم.